The winner and still champion, John Riel, Cuadro Alas Casino.
Justice.
Hey, what's happening, guys? How's it going? So, yeah, Guillermo Rigondeaux last night, in my personal opinion, pretty much put the final nail in the coffin of his incredibly disappointing boxing career. And, I mean, this was a guy that came out the amateurs with a huge amount of hype, you know, over 300 fights, two-time Olympic gold medalist. And, yeah, he was a guy that a lot of people had a lot of excitement for. A lot of people really believed in this guy, had a lot of high hopes, and pretty much his whole entire career, it was just one disappointment after another. Every time he was given a big opportunity, he would stink the joint out and, you know, not even come to fight. He would just show up to run, survive, spoil, and then at the end of the fight, when he gets his hand raised, you know, he acts as if he's the shit, basically. He acts as if he's the greatest thing the greatest thing since sliced bread, just because he took maybe a couple of less punches than his opponent. And yeah, people got tired of this guy a long time ago. But as you guys already know, there was a bit of a cult that formed around this guy. Nowadays we refer to that cult as the LDBC. But yeah, they don't even give a shit about this guy anymore, because of course he lost to a white guy. So, I mean, they cast him out as soon as that happened. But I digress. But yeah, Guillermo Rigondeaux, for whatever reason, had this cult forming around him. This group of virtue-signalling, holier-than-thou, leftist boxing fans. That's just what I want to call them, you know, who saw this guy as just a perpetual victim. And basically they look at his face, they look at this little sad expression he has on his face, they hear this sob story about how he escaped from Cuba, and basically, anybody who would dare criticize this guy, talk about how his fights were boring, how he was a dirty-ass fighter, how he was a very exploitative and slimy individual, would get called a racist, and yeah, basically, God forbid you offer any criticism, constructive or not so, on this guy, you would just get ridiculed by these people, by this cult. And that cult got smaller and smaller over the years, because I think a lot of people in the beginning were very sympathetic towards Rigondeaux because of, like I said, the sob story about Cuba and just that sad look he has on his face, and, you know, how small the guy is, and the fact that he's black, essentially. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, a lot of these black-tard, you know, Power Ranger types really jumped on this guy and really believed in this guy and would come to this guy's defense no matter what. But like I said, over the years it just got too much. I mean, when the guy fought Drian Francisco, who, let's be honest, who the heck is that guy? And looked like an absolute joke against him. You know, when he's fighting, I mean, he had the good win against Donaire, and he really built no momentum off it. After, you know, instead of building some momentum off of that win, he instead just bitched and moaned about racism, bitched and moaned about his promoter, and so, oh, everybody's out to get me. You know, apparently there was this, you know, elaborate conspiracy by the powers that be in boxing to set this man up and to ruin him, even though he himself was given numerous opportunities by several promoters. You know, he had a promoter over in Ireland that was sorting him out, a promoter over in Japan. He screwed all of them over, stabbed them all in the back, and yeah, didn't want to take on any tough challenges, didn't want to face any tough mandatories or any contenders on their way up, while complaining about everybody else ducking him. You know, while you had Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg doing very well, you know, winning world titles, you know, building their fan bases in the UK and whatnot, and putting on exciting fights. This guy was calling them both out, and, you know, they received a lot of criticism for quote-unquote ducking him, but in retrospect, I don't really blame them for ducking him, because while they were putting in the work, and like I said, building up their fan base, putting on exciting fights, you know, really contributing something to the sport, this guy was just on Twitter calling everybody else a bitch, stabbing everybody in the back, and basically just being, you know, he had that real parasitical vibe about him, didn't he? He was like a parasite. You know, I got kind of a Billy Joe Saunders vibe from Rigondeaux over the years. You know, everybody else around him was doing well and doing positive, looking good. You know, Lomachenko was, when he came out of the amateurs with a similar kind of amateur hype, he was capturing the imagination of boxing fans, whereas Rigondeaux was just making boxing fans vomit. And even his promoter at the time, Bob Arum, those were his exact words. He says Rigondeaux just is vomit-inducing. He's disgusting to watch. So, yeah, the guy is a real spiteful and miserable individual, and I was never a fan of Rigondeaux. I never liked watching him fight. I thought that the whole cult that he had developing around him was just an absolute embarrassment, if I'm being honest. And yeah, what happened last night, to me it's funny. I'll probably even watch it. I'll probably watch it multiple times, man. But yeah, he fought... so he fights John Rio Casimero. And if you guys had followed me on social media and whatnot, if you'd listened to what I'd been saying in live streams or in comment sections and whatnot, you'll know that from day one, even though I didn't make a video, but from day one, I was picking Casimero to win the fight. And I said from day one that, to me, Guillermo Rigondeaux's style of hardly throwing any punches and being so low volume and being so defensive, yeah, maybe that could work when he was a bit younger and a bit more athletic. But Rigondeaux now, that style is on steroids. You know, he hardly throws any punches now that he's in his 40s and is got slower legs and slower hands than he used to back then. Maybe not as much stamina. You know, he's maybe not as athletic or as energetic as he was back then. So he's going to be even more low volume in that fight. And I just felt that the volume and the work rate and the just the younger legs, the younger, more athletic and much higher volume Casimero was going to beat him. Because how could Rigondeaux win when he throws so few punches? Right, especially nowadays. I mean, yeah, he can maybe win fighting the likes of Julio Sejar and guys of that level, but an actual world-class fighter, no, he can't win at this level with that style. Okay, you need to have some assertiveness. Okay, you need to actually put some effort into your performance. Otherwise, you're not going to win unless you get a flat-out gift, which is what almost happened last night. Let's not forget he almost got a gift. And yeah, when they announced Casimero was the winner, it was like it was like a sigh of relief, wasn't it? Because if Guillermo Rigondeaux had gotten that decision, I don't think I would have been able to stomach the post-fight reviews and the and the boxing media talking about how it was a masterclass and an amazing performance and all that stuff, man. But yeah, I think from what I hear, I haven't listened to a lot of people, but from what I hear, a lot of people are calling the fight a robbery and all that other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Again, I guess some of that Rigondeaux cult, you know, some of that virtue signalling idiot leftist boxing cult that formed around this guy, I guess there's some remnants of that left. I didn't think there would be because, I mean, after the embarrassment against Lomachenko, most of his fans, you know, they just flat out abandoned him. But I guess there's still some of those people around. Whatever. It's just funny to me, man. But yeah, Guillermo Rigondeaux should retire. The guy will be remembered as just an absolute flipping farce, an absolute fraud. And he was never that good, but now, like I said, that he's that style that he always was, but on steroids. Like, he throws no bloody punches. He just runs, and the sense of entitlement with this guy, like after the fight where he clearly lost, clearly got outworked, clearly did nothing, clearly stunk the joint out and had the crowd booing him all night, he was celebrating and dancing around and like, yay, that was amazing, I'm so great, I kick ass, I'm amazing. You know, just self-congratulatory garbage. But I think Rigondeaux, the guy's delusional, I think the guy's a narcissist, I think the guy's a weirdo, I think he's a miserable prick, and he should just retire as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, the people who keep virtue signaling over this guy, I don't know what to say, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. I didn't even plan on making a video, I just thought I would because it was on my mind this morning. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and God bless.